The turkey should have meant comfort. Instead, the smell turned my stomach as I sat at what used to be my dining room table, listening to the familiar chorus of my family David's easy laugh, Jessica's sharp giggle, the grandchildren murmuring in the next room. At 68, faces were soft smudges to me, but this house was mapped into my bones. I had raised David here, patched walls and hearts here, built a life inside these rooms. "Mom, we need to talk," David said, slicing through the clatter of plates. Jessica cleared her throat, already savoring whatever came next. "Margaret, we've discussed this for months. It's time you considered other living arrangements." The words landed like a blow. "Other arrangements?" "You're becoming a burden," she replied, syrup over steel. "Your appointments, the driving, the risk, it's too much." I set my fork down, hands trembling. "I pay my medical bills." "That's not the point," David said. "You're a liability. What if you fall? What if you leave the stove on?" "This is my home," I whispered. "I raised you here." Jessica laughed, brittle as ice. "Your home? David's paid the mortgage for years." She didn't know how easily the lie came to her tongue, how easily David echoed it with a shrug. I wanted to shout the truth. For 15 years, I had quietly transferred money to cover every payment. I had put the deed in David's name to protect him when his business stalled. I had made myself invisible so my son could feel like a provider. "We found a nice facility," David added, wearing that condescending kindness he saved for waiters and clerks. "Affordable, with staff who can help. You want to put me in a home?" My voice barely made it to the table. "It's for the best," Jessica said. "We can't keep supporting a blind old woman." "Dead weight," she said. I thought of nights spent at a feverish child's bedside, loans I co-signed, checks I wrote, pride I swallowed. "We want you out by Monday," she finished. "They'll pick you up." I stood. My grandchildren laughed in the next room, unaware their grandmother had been deemed surplus. "I'll pack," I said, because at that moment I knew silence was stronger than pleading. In my bedroom, I called Robert, my advisor for over 20 years. "It's time," I said. The facility lasted 6 hours. Disinfectant and despair clung to everything. I took a taxi to a small apartment across town with a suitcase and the kind of grief that makes your chest feel hollow. Jessica texted, "Hope you're settling into Sunset Manor. Leaving without telling us was inconsiderate." I deleted it. Let them think I was tucked away and quiet. On Monday, I sat across from Robert in his old office. Same leather chairs, same lighthouse painting. Everything familiar, except me. "Are you certain?" he asked. "There will be consequences." I've never been more certain. He laid out the documents, the purchase in 1989, the transfer of the deed to David in 2007 as a gift, the life estate I had retained under state law, my right to live there for life. "The transfer assumed you would be allowed to remain and be cared for," he said. "By pushing you out, David violated those terms. We can revoke." He flipped to bank records 15 years of deposits from my account into David's to cover the mortgage, my signatures as co-signer on his equipment, his truck, Jessica's minivan. "You've been an undisclosed benefactor," Robert said. "If you stop, he can't carry it. Based on his income and expenses, he'll default within 3 months." Another folder. An application for a home equity line Jessica had pressured him to file last week, nearly $200,000 against equity I had built. "We'll file to block it," Robert said, "and we'll stop all automatic transfers." He hesitated. "There's also the life insurance trust from your late husband. A clause triggers if David abandons or mistreats you. $300,000 remains scheduled for David at 40. Given what's happened," he didn't need to finish. "Do it," I said, "all of it." I signed. With each signature, I felt the floor beneath me steady. For years, I had explained my worth through action. From now on, I would let absence speak. 2 days later, David called, panic ragged in his voice. "Mom, I got papers saying you're taking the house. That can't be right." "It's right," I said. "I've paid the mortgage for years." "Have you?" I asked softly. "Follow the money, David. See where those deposits came from." Silence stretched. Jessica screeched in the background. "You can't do this," she snapped when she grabbed the phone. "You can't steal our house because your feelings got hurt." "I'm not stealing anything," I said. "I'm taking back what's mine." "David's income covers everything," she insisted. Your mortgage is $1,847, I recited. Add the truck, equipment, your van, utilities, food, and shopping. With David's average $3,000 a month, how does the math work? Another silence. You're lying, she said, but the edge was gone. Check your statements, I said. You'll notice the deposit stopped 3 days ago. I heard frantic whispering. David came back. If this is true, we can work something out. There's nothing to work out. You made your choice when you called me dead weight. We have kids, he said, smaller now. So did I when you put me out on a Thursday with a Monday deadline. Spiteful old witch, Jessica shouted. No, I said, spite is doing it without warning. You have 30 days. I hung up and blocked them both. Boundaries are cleaner without echoes. 2 weeks passed before David arrived alone at my apartment door. He looked wrung out, hair unkempt, circles under his eyes, clothes rumpled. He sat and stared at the floor. I checked everything, he said. The loans, the cards, the mortgage. You were behind it all. How didn't I know? Because you never looked, I said. He swallowed. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have listened? Or would Jessica have taken my money and kept her contempt? He had no answer. She left, he said at last. Took the kids to Phoenix. Cleaned out the account. The business is finished. I'll lose the equipment. I don't know where I'll live when the 30 days are up. The mother in me wanted to fix it. The woman I had become knew better. Why are you here, David? To apologize, he said. To ask for forgiveness. To see if we can make arrangements so I can keep the house. You could move back. We'll make room. Even then, he thought this was a negotiation. Do you know what hurt most, I asked? Not being called a burden, not being told to leave. It was watching my son laugh while his wife made me small. Jessica can be persuasive, he said weakly. She persuaded you to forget who made your life possible. He was quiet a long time. I don't know what I would have done differently, he admitted. Honesty, finally. I spent your life making sure you wouldn't struggle like I did, I said. In doing so, I taught you that my work had no value, that I had no value. He started to cry. I love you, Mom. I believe you, I said. But love without respect isn't enough. What can I do? Stand on your own feet, I said. Live within your means. Learn gratitude that shows up in behavior, not speeches. Then maybe we can rebuild on mutual respect, not sacrifice. He wiped his eyes. What about the house? I'm moving back next week, I said. You can visit when you're ready to treat me as the woman who built your life, not as a burden. He nodded. At the door, he said, I'm sorry. I know, I said. Now show me. He left. I cried relief more than grief. For the first time in my adult life, I had chosen myself. 6 months later, I drank coffee in my garden watching the sky bloom pink. I had changed the locks and changed the rooms, curtains I loved, a reading chair by the window, David's old bedroom turned into an art studio. With limited vision, painting had become a language I could still speak. Color, texture, the feel of making something just for me. David called once a week. The rebuilding was slow by design. He'd lost the business, taken a steady job with the Parks Department, learned to budget, gone to therapy. He'd found an apartment downtown he could afford. He told me Emma lost her first tooth and wanted to save her tooth fairy money to help Daddy buy a bigger place. Shame flickered in his voice, then pride in doing things the hard, honest way. Would you like to say hello on our next call? He asked. They ask about you. I'd love that, I said, and meant it. My neighbor Carol stopped by with gossip about Jessica arguing at the mall with her new fiancé about money. Unfortunate, I said, and meant that too. Anger had no room here. Consequences would do their work without my help. That evening, a bouquet arrived. Mom, thank you for teaching me that real strength is standing on your own, David. I placed the flowers on my table and stood in my quiet house, full of small, chosen joys. Thanksgiving had not been the end of my story. It was the beginning of my life as the main character in it. In the spaces where I had once begged to be seen, I had learned to see myself and to require that others do the same. Tomorrow, I would wake in my own home, make my own choices, and keep building a future measured not in what I gave away, but in what I chose for myself.